This weekend we're at Rockingham in Northamptonshire, where the Ginetta GT5 Challenge boys are in town for rounds 3, 4 and 5 of the championship. And if last time out at Oulton Park is anything to go by, this one is going to be a bit special. Within the GT5 Challenge there are two classes of car, the smaller, more nimble open-top G20 and the faster closed-top G40. There's a ladder at Ginetta, meaning a driver can start at the bottom and work their way up to the powerful GT Super Cup, a grid that now has an extraordinary amount of ex-GT5 Challenge racers. This is a one-make grid full of action. And there was no shortage of it last time out at Oulton Park. Let's have a quick reminder of the opening rounds with our commentator, David Addison.
The opening weekend of the season was at Oulton Park, and it got off with a bang, certainly as far as Ben Highlander was concerned, as he got it wrong at Cascades and was walloped by the traffic. He wasn't the only man in the wars either. Later in the race, off went Rob Gaffney. The G20 class, though, was won by Brian Murphy first time out, as Gary Sims took an outright victory. Glenn Brolster was off the road early doors in race 2, as through to score victory was Ollie Chadwick, fending off George Gamble's efforts to take his first victory of the season. Stuart Pearson, former G20 champion, came through to win the class, while for race 3, Chadwick converted his front row grid position into the lead on the way to the first corner, chased by George Gamble and then Gary Sims. There was plenty of action, as ever, in the G20 category though. Alex Preston was busy defending, as up front, the race was turning into a fight between George Gamble and Ollie Chadwick. We lost Gary Sims with mechanical dramas, bad news for the race 1 winner in the championship. And then we also lost Finlay Ratcliffe, coming out of Britain's. At the checkered flag, it was a win for George Gamble. Honours in the G20 class went the way of Alex Preston. In the championship, Preston heads the G20 class by 2 points from Brian Murphy, David Patterson running in third. As far as the G40s are concerned, it was 3 races and 3 different winners. Ollie Chadwick has a 3-point cushion over George Gamble, with returning champion Stuart Lynn rounding out the top 3.
So it seems the man to beat after Oulton Park is Ollie Chadwick. He's leading the points, but he isn't clear just yet.
We had a good start to the season, a good debut for myself and Zentech. We were very pleased. Obviously, we got second in the first race and nearly had Gary in that race, and then we went into the next race and got the first win, which was brilliant so early into the season, and then we got another second in the final race, as well as the fastest lap and the pole position. We couldn't really ask much more. It was perfect in our eyes, and it gave us the championship lead coming out of there. Still only a slender lead from George, but it's nevertheless it is a lead.
So coming to Rockingham, it's Ollie Chadwick leading the pack, but only by a slender margin. Only 3 points separate him and George Gamble, so the lead of this championship could well change here this weekend. 3 action-packed races in prospect here at the Rock. Let's have a quick look at what happened earlier in race 1.
As the lights went out, good start was made by Gary Sims from the second row of the grid. He had the lead on the inside as the cars worked their way through the Dean hairpin for the first time, but others weren't quite so fortunate. Finlay Ratcliffe had a spin, and then later on we lost Nick Firth. He went backwards coming out of turn 1. Sims was under attack though. Ollie Chadwick found a way through to snaffle his way into the lead. They made contact coming out of Dean. Sims got elbowed wide onto the grass and the car very nearly spun. He managed to hang on to it. Others, though, weren't so fortunate. Clattering into the barrier at the Dean hairpin was Barbara Kubica. At the checkered flag, though, George Gamble came through to score victory. Ollie Chadwick would be second and Gary Sims third, while honours in the G20 class went the way of Stuart Pearson. The former champion taking yet another class win. But outright, it was Gamble, Chadwick and Sims. Pearson the G20 winner from Alex Preston and Brian Murphy. We're ready for race 2 of the weekend here at Rockingham. Pole position, George Gamble, a double winner this year. With him at the front of the grid is Mark Davis, a former champion in the G20 days of this category. The lights go out. Gary Sims makes a decent start from the second row. And as the cars accelerate towards turn 1 for the first time, Sims it is who grabs the inside. He's going to get the lead as well as they dive through that first left-hander. Now the run up towards the Dean hairpin for the first time. Sims leads the way, and who is going with him? Slotting in behind is Mark Davis, but if you're really brave on the inside, you can gain ground, and that was what was sort of happening, but contact is the result. Ollie Chadwick goes into the wall, Mark Davis goes off, and the real catalyst for all of that was Dennis Strandberg there, rejoining in 46. He went for the inside line, and it just did not work for him. Mark Davis comes off badly, he's limping on in the background, so now Gary Sims it is who leads the way. Is he going to be able to build an advantage, as off has gone Callum Poynton now as well? Poynton in the TCR run car is back on track, but more ground is lost. Gary Sims making good his escape on this opening lap of the race, being pursued by George Gamble at the moment. Alex Preston's G20 turns its way through, looking strong in class at the moment, as for the first time the cars work their way down towards Gracelands and then onto the Tarzan hairpin. It's a 15-minute race, race 2 of 3 at Rockingham on the International Sports Car Circuit for the weekend. And Sims ahead of Gamble. The gap is not really extending very much by Gary Sims' efforts on this opening lap. He still has to try and get his head down and break clear if he can. They're coming, though, now up towards the end of the lap. Along School Straight and then into Brook for the first time. This is the cut-through that loops them round onto the oval once more as you look at 24, Rob Gaffney, who was in the wars at Alton Park. He's got himself onto the back of Frederick Mortensen now as they sprint their way towards the end of the lap. Mortensen, the Dane, keeping the former junior Rallycross Championship runner-up at bay. Rob Gaffney, over the timing line they come, and now this fast draft through turn 1. Gary Sims leads the way, but this man, Mark Davis, with a very battered car, is heading for the pit lane. And given the lack of pace that he's got, it rather looks like retirement. Have a look again on the inside line. Dennis Strandberg, the Swede, he makes contact, and that fires him across the front of Mark Davis. It was George Gamble he hit. Davis in the middle, rid of the sandwich. He then hits Ollie Chadwick. Chadwick's black and yellow car goes for the concrete. Thankfully, no really serious damage done to Chadwick, but Davis, by being squeezed in the middle, is the one who comes worse off. The leaders go through. Gary Sims leads the way, but the gap's come down a little bit now. George Gamble, who's had 2 wins now, remember, 1 here and 1 at Alton, is going after Sims and making his move as well on the outside line as they dive towards the Dean hairpin. Is he going to be able to go through? He's got his nose in front, but he's on the wrong line. Gary Sims saw that one coming and says, thanks very much, I'll have my lead back. George Gamble slips to second, and so Sims up front in the Buddy Racing car. Turns his way now out of Yentwood up towards Chapman Curve. Gary Sims, for the first time in living memory, with a proper season's budget, with the whole programme laid out in front of him. He's not having to go race to race scrimping for money. Here he can concentrate on the whole season, but he's having to concentrate as well on defending, because right on his tail is Ginetta Junior graduate George Gamble. He knows these cars well from his junior days. These versions of the G40 a bit more powerful. He's adapted well, as we saw at Donington at the end of last year, and he's a real threat for the title this year, that's for sure. He's won, of course, more races than anybody else thus far, 2 out of 4, but as they come to the Tarzan hairpin, he looks to the inside line. Sims gives him racing room. Is George Gamble going to be able to get up alongside, not into and not out of the Tarzan hairpin? The 2 of them together as they work their way down School Straight, heading in towards Brook. George Gamble pulls out, has a look, and pulls back in again. He's certainly got the pace. He's right on the tail of Sims, and he's quicker as well. Look, coming through Brook, having a look to the inside as they approach turn 4. Gary Sims able to fend him off. But I just wonder whether Gary's on borrowed time here. George Gamble looks to be the quicker. It's a good defence by Sims, but Gamble is right there on his tail as they come over the line. George Gamble in the TCR run car. He goes through, still chasing Sims in the Buddy Racing entry. Now up towards the Dean hairpin. Is this George Gamble's chance? Once again he tries the outside. Sims covers the inside as they get to the hairpin. George Gamble can't find a way around the outside, and in fact he loses a length or 2 by doing that, which prevents him being able to get the switch back and challenge on the inside coming out of the corner. Gary Sims working overtime here, leading the way. Because he's defending, of course, he's taking these slower lines. Meantime, in the G20 category, battle on here. Brian Murphy on the inside as they dive into the hairpin, and he moves himself up past Alex Preston. Brian Murphy goes ahead. Way out in front, though, is Stuart Pearson. He's the class leader, this for second in class. Alex Preston, new to Ginetta's this year, moving from Mazda MX-5s. He's third in class now, having had a win at Alton, as we look at a replay of the start. Good start by Sims, good start by Mark Davis. George Gamble a bit sluggish off the line, but as they work their way out of turn 1 and up towards the Dean hairpin, that's when it all kicked off, really, courtesy of Dennis Strandberg. Now, battles rage on here. Rob Gaffney coming under attack as they work their way through turn 1. Vic Covey Jr. right on his tail. And then the recovering Strandberg is next in the queue, number 46, the black and yellow car there, trying to gain ground on the inside. But there's no way through. Rob Gaffney, experienced Ginetta racer in both these and indeed G50s, hangs on to his place. Vic Covey in his first year of these cars, the Scotsman, gains a place on the inside, runs wide, and Strandberg goes through, and there's more contact. Off goes Covey, and that's a big whack into the barrier. Vic Covey is in the wall, and looking at the front left corner, the suspension has had it, he's going no further. Dennis Strandberg's second incident of the race, that, I'm afraid, is going to draw yet further attention to him. The Swedish driver getting involved on the first lap at Dean, and now with Vic Covey, and here is what happened. Out of Yetwood, up the inside goes Strandberg, looks okay at this point, and then as he tries to move across, there's a little biff, and that fires Vic Covey off the road, bang, into the Armco. The car spins around, and Vic Covey is out of the race. Dennis Strandberg continues, but in rather robust fashion, he has secured the place. So Vic Covey off the road, Dennis Strandberg survives, as up front it is still Gary Sims leading the way from George Gamble. Cracking lead battle is on, Vic Covey is okay and out of the race, and there's more to come after the break.
What happens when you combine our superior care with indulgent ingredients? You get our most delicious body lotion ever. Immerse yourself in Dove Purely Pampering Body Lotion.
I was really worried about Ivor, so I took us off to get tested, and actually, I'm just as bad. Flora Proactive came to Rutland with a 3-week challenge to lower our cholesterol. It was about a healthy diet, exercise, and eating Flora Proactive every day.
Really? That is absolutely brilliant. I can't actually believe it's been such a small change and it's made such a big difference. I really can't.
This is not a bike. It is a doorstop. A coat hanger. A filing cabinet. Trade in your old banger and get up to £250 off a shiny new bike from our huge range of famous brands. This is a bike.
Skechers Memory Foam is like a bed for your feet. Built-in memory foam insoles provide a gentle, comfortable cushion. Feel the difference with Skechers Memory Foam footwear.
Hell Performance, stainless steel brake line kits. What's stopping you?
Go further with Go Nutrition Sports Nutrition. With over 500 supplements and foods, Go Nutrition delivers premium sports nutrition products with a full money back and lowest price guarantee. And right now, selected Go Nutrition bundles are half price, starting from just £22.58 for 4 select products. Go further with GoNutrition.com.
Where could you meet someone amazing? At adults.co.uk, you'll find a choice of thousands of men and women. Whether you're looking for long-term love, an older partner, or maybe just someone to meet for a casual encounter, adults.co.uk could be the fast and easy way to make it happen. Best of all, it's free to join. So go to adults.co.uk and find someone new today. Adults.co.uk, dating for everyone.
How Sif helped Sleeping Beauty shine. Sleeping Beauty was rudely awakened. Her prince was arriving. Things were looking good, but the floor less so. With no time to fill a bucket, she summoned new Sif Express floor cleaner with its powerful cleaning agents. Applied directly from the bottle, the dirt disappeared quickly and the beauty returned, leaving her time to be reawoken by the prince. New Sif Express, always a beautiful ending, quickly.
Welcome back to Rockingham, round 5 of the Protyre Motorsport Ginetta GT5 Challenge. Race being led by Gary Sims, just from George Gamble. Here, Rob Gaffney busy battling with Dennis Strandberg. Strandberg, the Swede, has been involved in a couple of accidents so far in this race. He's fending off Matt Flowers, and he's up the inside of Rob Gaffney, and Strandberg gains the place. Matt Flowers also tries to gain out of all of that as they come onto the bank turn 4 exit, and through he goes, up on the inside. Matt Flowers in the black car should go through to gain the place then. He's run by Academy Motorsport, one of the top teams, as Gary Sims, in the meantime, is oh so busy keeping George Gamble at bay. Gary Sims has led since the start of the race, but he really has had to work hard as Gamble goes up the inside, can't do it. Gary Sims fends him off. This for second in the G20s. Alex Preston goes ahead of the red car of Brian Murphy. The pair of them absolutely tied together. Murphy stays ahead, but only just. Preston goes to the outside, and they're both being monstered now, look, by Rob Keogh in his G40, splitting the G20s, and that actually has spoilt that battle on the last lap of the race now. George Gamble in second place, Gary Sims, the race leader, looking as though he's on target for a second victory of the season here. Down towards Brook they come, and then that cut through that brings them onto the banked oval once again. The checkered flag is being made ready, and it looks as though Gary Sims is on target for win number 2 of the season. He won at Alton Park, his home circuit. He's going to win at Rockingham as well. Up to the checkered flag he comes. Gary Sims will win round 5 of the Protyre Motorsport Ginetta GT5 Challenge. George Gamble is second, and Frederick Mortensen comes home in third. Stuart Pearson, in the meantime, is on target for victory in the G20 class. He's dominated it once again. The former bike racer, the former XR champion, comes now up towards the checkered flag, and Stuart Pearson will win in the G20s. He comes across the line now to take the flag. Stuart Pearson fending off the challenge of Brian Murphy and Alex Preston. For Gary Sims, though, it's a second win of the season. George Gamble coming home in second spot, and Frederick Mortensen taking third. Fourth goes to Dennis Strandberg, but he gets a 5-place grid penalty for race 3 because of the contact that he incurred during the course of the race. Stuart Pearson wins the G20 class.
I'm really pleased. I mean, the last round at Alton Park, it got smashed to pieces, so we've had 2 weeks to get it fixed, get it back on, and so 2 good results, 2 wins is just brilliant this weekend.
I was quick off the line, and I knew I had to be aggressive at the start to try and get in the lead. The car was just fantastic. It made it easy to do, but he was just sat on my bumper for a solid 9 laps, I think. And but you know, credit to George, who's very fair. It's very close all the time, but yeah, I wasn't going to let that one go.
Can Gary Sims secure a victory in the 3rd race of the weekend? Well, this man, Ollie Chadwick, who won at Alton Park, will start last of all. He's got a huge amount of work to do as we get set for 20 minutes of racing. Drivers look towards the starting lights, which will go out any second to get us underway. Sims and Gamble on the front of the grid. Out go the lights, everybody blasts away now. The cars sprint towards turn 1 with a good start being made as well by the white car. Look, Frederick Mortensen, the Dane, staying with the leaders. But Sims it is who has the advantage as they turn their way for the first time through the Dean Hairpin. On board now with Chris Webster. Grabs a gear, sequential gearbox, remember, in these cars are now hard on the brakes down to the Dean Hairpin. It's a lovely wide part of the circuit. It invites you to challenge to outbrake, and is there going to be an effort made on the inside for second? There is. George Gamble tries to go through on the inside line, but he's got Frederick Mortensen right up alongside him. Back on board with Webster now, down towards Yentwood, then on to Chapman Curve for the first time. Ollie Chadwick's making progress. Somebody's lost a whole heap of bodywork. Alex Preston is in the gravel. Finlay Ratcliffe has lost half of his car by the look of it. There is what's left of it going off. In fact, he hasn't just lost bodywork, he's got broken suspension. He's also damaged the coolers at the front of the car. Preston is in the gravel and out of the race, but Finlay Ratcliffe suffered a huge amount of damage. Now that brings out the safety car. Let's just try and piece together what happens. Coming through Yentwood, there is 32, Alex Preston's G20. Now somebody goes off ahead, so he slows and he gets hit by Ratcliffe. That fires Preston off. Ratcliffe's car suffers quite a lot of frontal damage, and there you can see really the man that triggered it getting back onto the circuit after a grassy moment. So 2 innocent victims, 2 damaged cars. We're racing once more at Rockingham. Round the outside of Gary Sims comes 46 Dennis Strandberg, this for the race lead, and they lean on each other, but Strandberg is the one who comes off worse. He's certainly an aggressive driver, as Dennis, as we saw in race 2. He goes ahead of Gary Sims, and now at the inside tries to come George Gamble as well. Strandberg leads the way in the Academy Motorsport car. Sims second, Gamble third, as now they work their way out of Chapman Curve and through the pith path. Strandberg fending off Sims. He's new to Rockingham, but he's driving like a veteran, as Sims is trying to attack for the lead and defend for second. And there in the pit lane is, by the look of it, Matt Flowers, seemingly going no further with dramas. The leaders work their way to the Tarzan hairpin. Dennis Strandberg looking for a first victory in the championship. Turns now into Tarzan. He raced at Donington at the back end of last year and went well. He's been there or thereabouts thus far this season. And bearing in mind that he copped a 5-place grid drop after contact in race 2, and he started on the 5th row, he's worked his way very well through the field to lead. Ollie Chadwick is also making good progress. Mark Davis is on the move and gains another place there as Mark Davis, as ahead of him, a spin for Nick Zapolsky, puts Zapolsky into the gravel. The man behind Buddy Racing, I'm afraid, loses it. He slithers off the road, drops it into the gravel. His teammate Gary Sims is busy defending from George Gamble now. Gamble in the black car to the outside line, tries to find a way all the way around on the outside line, but the TCR car cannot do it. While Sims is defending, though, like this, so the race leader, Dennis Strandberg, is getting away. Again, Gamble challenges, this time on the inside at Yentwood, and through he goes. Mark Davis now tries to find a way past on the inside, and he's done it. Mark Davis in the Optimum car goes through on the inside line, heading through Chapman Curve. Now let's catch up with everything that's been going on. This was the first incident. This was for the lead. Sims and Strandberg together coming out of the Dean hairpin. Dennis Strandberg squeezed onto the curb, kept his foot in. Nick Zapolsky then had a self-induced spin at Brooks, slithered off the road and into the gravel, having been running really strongly in the first part of the race. Big frustration. And then launching himself up the inside, George Gamble getting ahead of Gary Sims. I don't think they touched, but Sims delayed by rattling over the curb, and so Mark Davis up the inside to gain the place. Gary Sims is still on the back foot, as now Ollie Chadwick comes up to find a way past him, and through he goes. Chadwick, remember, started last of all on the grid. He started 24th, Davis started 23rd. They both made progress up the order. Well, not doing many laps, of course, in race 2. They've kept their tyres in good nick. There is Mark Davis, who works his way now through Tarzan. Davis heading at the moment for 3rd place, could be 2nd by the end, and Ollie Chadwick could get himself onto the podium as well. 2nd and 3rd together, George Gamble in the black car versus Mark Davis right on his tail. When Mark Davis won the championship in the G20 era a few seasons ago, he had some really good races where he was dominant. He had some odd races where he went off the road. When he strings it all together, he's very quick indeed, and he's proving that again now from the back of the grid. Comes over the line. Ahead of him in the black car, still looking strong for 2nd place, is George Gamble, graduate of the Ginetta Junior Championship. And Mark Davis turns his way out of turn 1. Is he close enough to get into the slipstream and make a move at Dean? He's thinking about diving to the inside. He's going to have to brake very, very late, and he does brake late. He's given the gap on the inside, and through he goes. George Gamble perhaps saw him coming and thought discretion was the better part of valour there. Either way, Mark Davis goes through. George Gamble is right back on his case, though, trying to attack once more. In the G20 class, you know what I'm going to say, Stuart Pearson leads the way. He does so virtually in every race. He's the dominant man in G20s, former champion, multiple race winner in this sort of a car, and so he's very much the benchmark driver. And the real question mark is not so much whether he will win the class, but how many G40 scalps can he claim en route. Dennis Strandberg, meantime, is going to win. It's been a great drive by the Swede, who works his way now through Brook up towards the checkered flag. Not only is Strandberg the leader, and now about to become the winner, he's also built a small gap over the opposition. But Dennis Strandberg for Academy Motorsport, Matt Nicol-Jones' team, comes through to win, ahead of Mark Davis and George Gamble. And to win the G20s in 12th place overall is going to be Stuart Pearson. Yet another very impressive drive by the Yorkshireman, who comes now up towards the timing line. He wins the class, and there is nobody around him. Very much, once again, Stuart Pearson crushes the opposition. But a delighted Dennis Strandberg takes honours in the G40 class for the first time. Mark Davis from the last row comes home 2nd, George Gamble 3rd, and Ollie Chadwick from the back row 4th. Stuart Pearson wins the G20s from Brian Murphy, and Alex Preston comes home 3rd in class.
That was the best start I've ever made. I just sat on the bottom of the apron all the way around to turn 2, and I thought, blimey, 3rd here, I'm not giving this up. The safety car came out. I thought, I'm quite pleased, because I'm not going to get a big gang of G40s trying to pass me all at once. But they made the presence known. Everyone that came past just gave me a little reminder that I shouldn't be up the front.
Stuart Pearson keeps on winning, Brian Murphy keeps on scoring, and he has a 1-point cushion in the title race over Pearson, with Alex Preston third ahead of David Pattison, Johnny Greenwood and James Bell. Dennis Strandberg, though, scores a first victory in the championship. He's over the moon.
I had a bit of struggle at the first 2 races, but we found more and more pace in every race, so it was a really good week.
I was actually looking quite forward to coming from the back of the grid, you know, to see how far I could get up. We had a few bets in the team, to see how many positions we could gain, you know, in that race, and all sorts of mayhem going on, especially at the first corner as usual, but just, you know, I kept my head up and looked ahead all the time and picked a few places off and ended up in second. It was marvellous.
It was really competitive. I probably wore the car a little bit trying to get back through the traffic, and when I needed it to chase down Dennis at the front, then just quite wasn't there. So in the end, me and Mark was having a bit of a battle, but no, it was a great race.
Action all the way. In the championship, though, George Gamble now is edging away. 36 points up on Ollie Chadwick. Gary Sims is third, and Dennis Strandberg now coming into the equation. That win puts him up to fourth.
So that's another great weekend of racing from the GT5 Challenge. Where are we heading next? Only the home of British Motorsport, Silverstone. And best of all, we're on the Grand Prix circuit. We'll see you there.